One of the things you'll run into a lot in algebra is equations, so I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about what equations are and getting you comfortable with them. You've seen equations before, but you might not have heard them called that. 2 plus 2 equals 4 is an equation. What makes it an equation is the equal sign. One important thing about an equation is that it is a statement of mathematical fact. If you have $4 and a friend gives you $3, then you have $7. You don't have $6 or $8. You have exactly $7. And this equation states that fact. So we wouldn't write 2 plus 2 equals 5 or 2 plus 7 equals 4. You might remember seeing an equation that looks like this in school. What you were supposed to do with this was fill in the box with a number. What's important for algebra is to think about the fact that this is an equation. It has that equal sign. And what we want to do is make it true, because I said an equation is a statement of mathematical fact. This is another form you might have seen of that same equation. In school, when you got good at the kind of problems we just looked at, of course we had to make it harder for you. So we'd give you one like this, a little harder to figure out, but the same idea. Again, you were supposed to figure out what number goes in the box to make this equation true. Right now I'm not concerned about what number goes in the box. I just want you to understand the concept that I can write this equation knowing some number has to go in the box without knowing yet what the number is. Now here's what happens in algebra. Same idea exactly as the ones you did in elementary school. It's just that in algebra we've decided that instead of using that open box to stand for the number we don't know, we put a letter in instead. Sometimes you'll hear us call the letter a variable or an unknown, but really it's just a letter standing in for a number we don't know yet. The important thing here is that the letter serves the exact same purpose as the box. It's just that we've decided to use a letter instead of a box. There are lots of reasons why we do that, but you don't need to think about those at the moment. So all of these express the same idea. They all say that if I start with some number and then subtract 5, I'll get 27. Later we'll work on how to find what that number is. But for now I just want you to understand that they all mean the same thing and to get used to seeing things that look like the bottom one. One last thing. I just want you to know that when I first learned algebra, the most confusing thing was just that notion that I was supposed to do math with letters. I was comfortable doing all kinds of math with numbers, but having letters in there confused me. So if that's true for you, I want you to give yourself permission to be a little confused at first. Also, every time you see an equation like this, in your head you might translate it into this form, or whatever works best for you, just until you get comfortable with letters in algebra. Soon you'll be so used to working with letters that you won't need to do this anymore.